Welcome back, guys. Right now I'm at my main, well, it's my main computer that I do the distribution reviews on. Right now I have the new Voyager Linux installed. Now this is the new Ubuntu, the new version based on Ubuntu 16.04. As usual, they've done a very nice job. The only thing I notice, guys, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the only thing I notice that is that it appears that the language gap, because this is a French distribution, it appears the language gap may be widening a bit, and it's starting to impact ease of use. And I'm trying to say that without sounding like I'm coming down hard on Voyager, which I am not. I think it's a fantastic distribution. But I think if they want to continue to appeal to a variety of ethnicities and geographic locations, they may need to just take a quick look at that to see whether or not they want to make some modifications. I'll give you a couple of examples. If you pull up the website, let's take a look. Now, right from the get-go, the Voyager Linux website was always a little different. Not something that I was used to. The format, the graphics, they're a little bit out of the ordinary. Not making them bad. It's just they're tailored to a different audience. And so you can select English as the language on the website, and that helps a lot. But it doesn't always get you through some of the confusing spots. But let's take a look. The newest version is the May 1st, based on Ubuntu 16.04 long term. You can click on the tutorial. It'll take you through a lot of information related to that distribution. But the highlights, it's got the kernel 4.4, UEFI support, XFCE 4.12.2, does have XF dashboard built in, LibreOffice, Kodi, Firefox. So it has a lot of the newer Ubuntu features built in. And of course, because this is Voyager, they have added a lot of their own proprietary. Now they still have the 14.04 available, which is the standard install. So if you prefer to stick with 14.04, they do have an Ubuntu variation for that. And this has the KWin. Now just keep in mind that KWin is tied into KDE and Wayland compositing. So basically it's a package that is KDE based, KWin window management, Wayland compositing. So if that's what you're looking for, then of course they have a version for you. And then you come down to the Debian. The Debian also has a KWin version and has the X version. So you've got both of those variations using Debian 8.1 stable. So they have something for everyone. My concern is that they're trying to appeal to so many that they are from a language standpoint and usability standpoint, they might be suffering a little bit. And let me go over a couple of examples. If you remember when Voyager first came out, they had a few things up in the system tray that were a little unusual. For example, this little green arrow, that's a terminal window. And then you've got search. Okay, sorry about that, guys. And so you've got the terminal, the search. This is a backup icon. Then you've got your radio. Now this actually is internet radio. You can see the various countries. That is built in. That's default. Then you've got your Bluetooth. You've got your network, volume. This is computer, presentation mode, power manager settings, clock, weather. And that's to restart, suspend, log out. We will cancel that. Then it's got the country, and this is what they call personal desktop. When you click it, it brings up a calendar. There's usually a notepad, things like that that make it specific to you, and that's your personal desktop. So they've introduced a lot of things that are different. And before I comment on that, let me move on to the sidebar here. Now this is another panel that they've set up, and you've got desktops, desktop 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then this is Ranger. Now Ranger is basically a file manager. As you can see, it's a file manager. And I'm going to see if I can exit out of that. And let's see, there we go. Okay, we're back at desktop 1. Now you can see that how confusing that can become. It requires a little bit more investigation, a little bit more analysis. It's not as intuitive. When you click on this, you don't know what Ranger is. You have no idea. This you do. It's a terminal. And it's broken up into panes. And after a little bit of using the system, you'd get to know that. But it can be a little bit frustrating to somebody who's using this for the first time. I've used Voyager quite extensively in the past, but a lot of these little nuances I just didn't take to it. The ones I like, I use. The ones I don't use. However, they've become so concerned, I believe, with adding new content that they're forgetting how to be intuitive to everybody. They're trying to be intuitive to everybody, and I don't think they're being intuitive to hardly anybody at this point in time, because it's not self-explanatory. So now let's see if we can get back to where we were before. Okay, and that's desktop 1. Okay, so you've got the, now this is your MOC, and that is another file manager. Looks like music, Voyager music. Then these 3 little dots, that's called pulse. It looks like some type of a graphic EQ, a little visualizer. I imagine if I start up my music, I'll see some graphical information on that. This is Cody. That's nice. That's clearly labeled, and there's Cody. So we'll get out of that. And let's go back to the normal desktop. There's EQ. So that's neat. That's something you might use. Pulse audio EQ. Now this is Box. Box is basically a configuration menu where you can on Voyager, you can select Voyager themes, custom themes, new theme, delete a theme. So if I'm on Voyager themes and I click OK, it's going to give you a wide selection of themes that you can pick from. Okay, so if I go back to Box, you can see that this is conch control, which there are 2 conches visible on the screen. One is the clock in the lower left, and one is the desktop indicator in the lower right. Those are 2 specific conches. Then you've got plank control, which is the dock. Colors, icons, search, reparation is some type of a fix, and then security audit. So on conch control, if I click on that, then I can see a list of conches, conch management, and then auto start. So you can fine-tune all of the various conches. And that's Box. Now this says infos, and it's a basically settings, monitors showing you where your system is at this point in time as far as throughput. This is my network interface. So up the top, if you look along the top, you have various tabs. Right now I'm on traffic. Then activity, those are all the processes that are running. These are all non-free packages. My network statistics, and then system. Machine, CPU, graphics, audio. Now this is very nice. I like this. And this is probably something that I would end up using, as opposed, now I'm trying, okay, so you end up having to close all of those tabs, and then you need to find a way to get out of this. So I will do what I've been doing, go there, and then go on to number 1. So as you can see, it's somewhat cumbersome. Now this says T1, T2, and I think it's panels. Well, no, it's not panel, it's It's basically moving an image around. And I think GUVC view ended up getting closed. We will reopen. There's GUVC view back. Make sure everything is set up correctly. Okay. So hopefully we're still recording. Now you can see that panel is not here. There it is. Okay, so it's hiding. So now it's hiding, and so you can, and I'm not sure exactly what I did to make it hide and not hide, but that's considered to be I think that's panel number 2. So you've got panel 1 along the top, panel 2 on the right. That brings us to the newest panel, panel 3. This little airplane is Wi-Fi on and off. The one below it is T-pad on and off. I don't know what T-pad is. Oh, touchpad. So if you had a computer with a touchpad, then you would be able to turn that touchpad on and off. Panel 3, if you click, because the arrow is going to the left, you can hide panel 3, as you can see. Now it's not hiding. So panel 2, so now panel 2 is visible, panel 1 is visible, and panel 3. So I've got all 3 panels back. Okay, this here is private, and I believe that opens up a private browser. Private browsing, yes, it's Mozilla's private browsing, so that's fine. This probably locks the screen, and this is your network. If you notice down in the conky, when I click on that, it turns the network statistics on and gives you a little graphical representation of your bytes up, bytes down, and your CPU temperature. So it modifies your conky. Now, it's great that they provide all of this functionality, but the problem is that A, most people are not going to use it. B, there are some that are very nice and probably would get used, but I think Voyager now is becoming more complex than they envisioned it to be, and I think it's detracting from itself at the present time. So I'm a little bit, I guess, disappointed in the clutter and the complexity. It's no longer simple, and so if you're looking for unusual functionality, then this may be the Ubuntu version for you. And before I go, guys, I just want to go through one little exercise. Sorry about the length of this video, but Voyager gives you a lot to cover. If I right click over at one of the panels and I go into panel preferences, you'll see that there are actually 4 panels. Now panel 0, and this is what I mean about complexity. They've created 4 panels. Panel 0 is actually, you can see it in the outline, the little broken red line. that's showing you what panel is active in the menu here. Panel 0, you can see that how it's configured, and you can see what items it has, all of the various items. So you can remove items that you don't like. If I go to panel 1, that is this one. You see how the line has moved? Well, you can see how many launchers they have built in. Those are really nothing but program launchers. And they've got them listed as launcher 40, launcher 41. That makes it a little bit difficult to understand exactly what's going on and what the icon is that corresponds to it. But you can back up the panel configuration and then play with it to get it to include just the icons that you might want to keep. Panel 2 is this particular panel here on the left, and there's actually a fourth panel which is designated as panel 3. You see here it's basically a hot corner indicator, and so that doesn't show up normally. If I click that, it might stay when I close this out. Now you have to bring your mouse against the edge of the screen. So that illustrates my point on A. It is very complex with a number of panels they've created, but B, they are modifiable. You can, if you have the patience and the time to go through and select just the items that you want to have on those panels, then I'm sure you can end up with a nice, a well-tailored, personalized, functioning system. You'd have to make a decision as to whether or not this is too complex for you. For me, it is. It's gotten to the point now where it's a little too bloated, a little too complex, a little too confusing. And they may be, and that's meant with, you know, very constructive criticism, because I've always been a follower and promoter of Voyager Linux. I really like it. That is it for Voyager Linux, guys. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for stopping by the channel, and I will see you soon. Take care.